You dream of a big team. You dream of a big, strong team. You dream of a big, strong, excited, and engaged team. A team that is mostly independent and is building a business they love, growing their customers, recruits, and paycheck, and doing so without a ton of hand-holding or constant one-on-one mentorship. I know. Sounds like a dream to most. But guess what? You can have the team of your dreams without running yourself into burnout or leaving them on their own to fend for themselves without leadership support. And the secret to this sanity-saving success is in creating team-building success systems for both you and your lineage to enjoy. So whether you have a team or you want to have a team someday, this episode will give you the insight you need to transform your team building and your time management for the better. And remember, if you're finding value in this podcast, and I really hope you are, after all, if you weren't, why would you be listening? I'd be truly grateful if you take a few moments to leave a written podcast review and share this podcast with your business besties and your team. You see, every share, follow, or subscribe and review helps more mom bosses find this podcast and begin to have breakthroughs in growing their business and mom life abundance. Together, we can empower mamas to grow the abundant business and mom life they desire and deserve. To leave a written Apple Podcast review, find this podcast in the Apple Podcast app. Scroll down till you see the reviews and find the purple text that says Write a Review. Click on that, write your review in the box. Don't forget to send your stars before you submit. I can't wait to read your review and thank you so much in advance. Welcome to the Abundant Mom Life for Network Marketers show, where we choose to grow a successful and sustainable business from the crazy caffeine-filled comfort of home using flexible productivity strategies that simplify, optimize, and systemize our business and mom life. Hi, I'm Melody Bishop, a Jesus-loving boy mom, former teacher, turned top 1% network marketer, turned entrepreneur. I believe you can slay your day without being a slave to the hustle. If you're ready to get your time freedom back and design the life you love, you're in the right place. It's time to rise up, know your worth, and live abundantly. Friends, there's no badge or ribbon for burnout. But unfortunately, the hustle and strive culture of network marketing that awards you for quantity of recruits rather than quality of recruits, and the volume of team sales rather than the percentage of profit consultants get to take home from those sales, well, this kind of mentality has got many leaders and teams all kinds of twisted. Sure, you can continue on the hustle train and you can grow a big team and a big paycheck, but at what cost? Are you willing to sacrifice your time, sacrifice being present with your family, your health, and mental well-being just to reach the top and realize living the dream is making you sick to the point where you finally crash and burn, and sometimes in a very big and public way? Or would you rather build it big, the sustainable way, with purpose, intent, and systems that work for you even when you're not working? And what type of business and mom life do you want to model for your team? Do you really want to lead a whole team into the pit of hustle and burnout? I know you don't, mama. I know you're here to not only create a life of abundance and freedom for you and your family, but to help other women do the same. And guess what? The hustle is not the way to grow. And if you've ever fallen prey to the hustle, you're not alone. First step to getting off the hustle train on the path to burnout is to stop spending all your time working in your business and begin to step outside the bubble so you can see with some clarity and find ways to work on your business and create systems that will help both you and your team work smarter than the rest so you don't have to work harder than the rest. Before we dive in deeper, I want to make sure you see the vision and understand the value of team systems and how best to go about getting started on the road to a more simplified and systemized team building approach. First stop is answering the question, where should I build these team building systems? Now, I know Facebook is not everyone's preferred or favorite platform, but whether Facebook is your main social hangout spot or not, there's currently no better platform for cultivating a team community, and the best way to do this is by leveraging Facebook groups to create your own team group community. Facebook groups allow you to invite teammates to hang out, get to know each other, find support, and learn how to grow their business while staying on top of company news, all in one organized, emphasis on the word organized, spot. Your team Facebook group should be the number one place where all the action happens. Anything else added in addition, such as a group chat or a Telegram chat, is another tool to be used intentionally, but your team needs simplification and organization if they are to truly feel safe and supported to grow. I love Facebook groups, and they are improving them all the time because a group allows you to organize trainings, resources, announcements, and other fun topics in an easy-to-find guide or pinned to the feature tab or even tagged under the group topics. You can create albums of pictures, you can schedule posts, you can share a recorded or a live video, and even set up events for your team to learn or get together. Nobody has time to scroll up in a chat feed to find what they need to know, and while some may find a training portal on a website super helpful, others might find it super overwhelming or even forget to check it in the first place. Most are already on Facebook, and even for those who don't use the platform as much anymore, they can still easily hop over and check in with your group daily. And if they don't want to see their newsfeed, they can even wipe out their newsfeed with the helpful Newsfeed Eradicator extension, which is free if that happens to be their issue. So they can go on Facebook if they only want to use Facebook simply for groups. And they can still do that very easily. So until there's a platform with the features and ease of use where most people are already showing up and you can keep things organized so they're easy to find, Facebook team groups are the way to grow. If you don't have one, now's the time to get it started. Now that we know where's the best platform to begin building these core team systems, let's tackle the next question you may be wondering. Why do I really need, Melody, to create team systems? Well, if my soapbox intro didn't sell you on team systems, consider this time-tested truth. The confused mind says no. I teach this concept often when it comes to customers and potential recruits, but it's just as true when it comes to your team. A team group that is thoughtfully created with simplicity and systems in mind and organized to make it easy to find what you need whenever you need it will give your team the support they need and confidence they need to grow their business when they have the necessary tools and resources at their fingertips. Systems simplify team growth without you having to actively work with each teammate individually. Sure, you'll still want to work with those on your team one-on-one or in smaller groups, but you want to spend that time really diving deep into building new leaders and not on teaching the foundations of the business. Having a system means that instead of repeating the same advice, processes, setups, coaching over and over and over again, you can instead create a system to tag each consultant on, or even send in Messenger, or even set up a email or project broadcast type of sequence where they get reminders. So you can do that. That way they can guide themselves through the steps one at a time at their own pace. And then you can check in with them every so often to see what step they are at and encourage them to keep going, or ask if they need any further clarification or support. Sure, systems take time to create, but the time, energy, and sanity they save in the long run is priceless. And your whole lineage can use the same systems to help their team grow as well. And when you make the team support process less stressful and daunting for your whole lineage to help support their teams, you'll find a lot more of your lineage recruiting people than just that tiny select few. I mean, think about it. If you as the leader are finding the team support process to be overwhelming and time-consuming, do you really think that's a desirable goal for the rest of your team to achieve? If you make it look hard, you will end up working yourself to the bone to recruit fast enough to keep your paycheck and title as you watch more current teammates leaving than new ones joining. Now, you may be thinking, why do I need to create team systems when I can just send my team over to their back office to use the company systems and trainings? Sure, your company back office may have trainings and systems that are great, and if they do, awesome. However, I'm going to bet there are holes in those systems, or those systems are so vague and general, which is basically out of necessity, since the company has to serve a wide scope of different types of consultants with different backgrounds, they cannot really get too specific. So that often means that there's a lot of holes and there's just not enough detail or meat on the bones, so to speak, to truly support new and seasoned consultants alike. Furthermore, many companies are so behind the times when it comes to the marketing aspect of network marketing that they are still teaching practices and strategies that are no longer effective or relevant, or ones that used to work but now take 3 times as much work to actually work. And lastly, many of those company systems are based on the hustle and strive mentality, like go for no challenges and your list of 100 checklists, techniques that work by you having to work yourself into burnout to make them work. These types of methods are just one of the reasons why there's a continuous revolving door in the industry, and it doesn't have to be that way. They may be simple methods, but they are not smart or sustainable methods. They are methods that have you trading time for money, and no mom boss is willing to lay on that sacrificial altar for very long. No, mama. You want to create a thriving, not just surviving community of empowered women without driving yourself crazy training every newbie one-on-one and holding their hand through trying to put out fires or troubleshoot broken company methods as they continue to hit wall after wall after wall. You don't want to utilize just any systems. You want to utilize the right systems that best fit you and your team. And if you want to grow a team that can work smarter, not harder, while using systems to grow their business on a firm foundation that also allows them room to make their business their own, well then, hang in there, friend, and listen on till the end, because I got you. Now that you know the where and why of team building system success, let's tackle how you can go about organizing these systems. Now, as you create your team systems, you'll want to use the free features already inside the free Facebook group to keep them organized. The best way to do this is by creating guides within your group. Now, these used to be called units, and if you're listening to this at a later date and Facebook decided to change things again, then just know that they were formerly called guides. You can create a guide for many different purposes, but I want to urge you not to go too crazy with the guides. If you put way too much in there, it just looks super overwhelming. And again, the confused mind says no. Be really intentional with what you put inside those guides. Anything that is already inside of another company group does not have to be inside your group. You can simply refer your team to check out any company news in their back office or inside the company group during your weekly team announcements post. I also found it helpful to create a monthly team cover banner with important dates and info for the month ahead so they could find that key info and know where to go to find the rest of the information that goes along with it at a moment's glance inside of our team group. You want your guides to be the go-to place for learning, for your systems for learning and growing their business. Anything else can be organized as a group topic, and weekly announcements can be pinned to the top under the featured tab. Just don't leave things cluttered up in the featured tab for very long. Remove anything that's no longer pertinent, or better yet, delegate that task to someone on your team. So now that you know how to organize your team systems, let's go over the core team systems I believe every team needs to grow. These systems will help support your team even when you're sleeping or on vacation, and will help you grow a strong, mostly independent, deep and wide lineage. The first system you need to have in the guides is the onboarding system. So this system is for new teammates to go through and really have a good understanding not just about the company and their business, but also what to expect inside of your team group. So you want to have a welcome and getting started video. You want to make sure you give them a team group tour so that right up front they know where to find all the things and you don't have to constantly be reminding them where to find what they need to find. Show them where the guides are. Show them where the announcements go in the pinned featured tab. Show them how to find topics, etc., etc. And then you want to give them a little bit of a back office tour so that they know where the most important things. You don't have to show them every single thing if you have a really extensive back office, but show them the most important things that they need to find and where to find them in their back office. So the cool thing about guides is you can have different modules inside of the guide. So each one of these things could be its own module, and you can even, with a video tutorial, you could even add a checklist or a PDF, like a getting started PDF, or a survey for them to fill out. You can add that into the guides as part of the module and just make sure you're ordering things in the order of the steps that they need to take to walk themselves through that particular guide. So another guide would be a launch system guide. So this is going to be a guide where you're walking them through step by step their launch process. So this is, sort of the outline of the launch process. Of course, they're able to personalize this and tweak it to fit them and their business, but you want to make sure that they understand the basic concept of what a launch is and what it looks like. So you want to go over launch goal planning. So these are modules inside of the guides. Another module for your launch system guide could be your launch blueprint, and that could be a PDF that you walk through it with a video training. And then you can have a launch checklist, which again could be a PDF that you give them, or it could be something that you create in Google Docs, and you can have a video that walks them through the checklist as well. So the next guide is a prospecting systems guide, and the modules inside this guide could look like a fill your funnel tracker. So you could give them a tracker, show them how to use it. I really love Trello. And then you can walk them through that training. You want to have a team prospecting event tracker module. So that's going to show them how to use your team prospecting event. Go back and listen to that podcast episode. And then you're going to walk them through how to use the tracker, walk them through how to do that alongside with joining your team prospecting group. And you want to have a lead group's content board. So one of the ways that you can teach them how to grow their targeted leads list instead of just, reaching out to anybody and everybody with a pulse like they teach you in normal network marketing techniques with the list of 100. You want to make sure that you are talking to them about who they want to serve, how they're going to serve them, and then go find where they're hanging out. So as they are making connections in these groups, then you can give them a content tracker board where they can create content and post inside the groups and also comment and keep track of what they're doing inside those groups. The next guide is a team sponsorship system. So some of the modules in that, one could be a dream team tracker. So this is a tracker where they put anyone who they think would be a great fit for their team or anybody who has expressed interest in joining their team. So they're going to keep track of those people in this dream team tracker. Again, I love to use Trello. It's super easy to use and it's free, and they can easily copy your board into their Trello and obviously create their own trackers from there. So you want to walk them through how to use that, walk them through how to keep track of these people and how to follow up with them. And then you want to have a team opportunity event tracker. So as you're having inside your team prospecting group, your team opportunity events, you want to make sure that they have a tracker that they can use so that they know how to reach out, how to follow up, what the touch points can look like, give them some sample verbiage that they can personalize and tweak for themselves. That way they can actually follow through with the follow-up when they know what to do. Most people don't know what to do, especially in the beginning when they're first starting something new. So as they get more comfortable with these systems, then once they have the foundations in place, they'll be able to run with it and personalize it and really make it their own based on their strengths and how they want to run their business. And then I really recommend having some sort of a FAQ doc. I had it on a free blog that I would let my team use, but you could use it as a Google Doc, but you can create a blog page, a landing page, and have some sort of an FAQ when it comes to questions about your opportunity, because most websites don't have all of the FAQs, or they just have a few, or sometimes they don't have any. So you can even add testimonials onto that page, which would be really powerful along with that. You can even add a little opportunity video to the top of that page, and that could kind of be like your FAQ opportunity landing page. But you want to make sure that you have an FAQ doc that has answers to all of those frequently asked questions about the opportunity, because again, you want to make sure that you and your team, it's simple for them to reach out to people and have that conversation, and let the majority of the conversation that they're having with their potential new teammates or potential new customers for that matter, but we're talking about teammates here in Messenger, to really be about the things that are important, getting to know them, getting to know what their why would be, getting to know what their goals are, and helping to give them the confidence to make that decision to join your team. Not answering question after question. Send them the FAQ. They can read all the answers to the questions, and then when you reach back out to them to see if they have any other questions once they've read those, then you can really get down to the nitty-gritty and really talk about what's important. And those questions that you can help guide them through, those open-ended questions that they could be asking their potential teammates, you can include that as part of the Dream Team Tracker and the Team Opportunity Event Tracker as well. The next team building system is a group events system. So you could have two of these, or it could be part of the same system. So this depends on the group events. You could be doing group events inside of your customer group, which is hopefully a value-based group. If you don't know what that is, go back and listen to that episode. But basically, you could do this in two ways. So you can have an outline that shows them how to run a value-based event inside of their value-based community, customer group. And then you can also have another one that's an outline if you're doing Facebook parties. Hopefully you're not going to call them a party, a workshop, a challenge, a boot camp, a boutique, whatever you want to call it. Don't call it a party though. And then you can have another one that's an outline on that type of party. This could be this particular group events system. So you always want to have an outline, all right? So they have something to go by, so they kind of know what it looks like in the beginning of the event, in the middle of the event, and then closing out the event, the different posts and things you need to do. You can also include a tracker, a follow-up customer tracker to go along with that training. And you can also maybe even include some Canva templates of pictures that they could go into their free Canva, and they can just change out the fonts and change out the colors, maybe change out the background, just to make it a little bit easier while they're learning how to use Canva on their own. And you could also have a group event Google form template. So if you're going to do a door prize at the end to collect their information and also expose them to customer specials, the opportunity, the prospecting team group that they can join with the events that you have in there with the whole team, you can also show them a Google form, show them how to copy it into their Google Drive, and then show them how they can just change it out to make it their own. And then the last core success system for your team that I recommend you have is optional. So this depends whether you're doing parties, whether you're a party plan company where you're hosting parties with someone who is a hostess other than yourself, then you want to make sure that you also have a hostess coaching system, because most people don't know what to say, how to say it, when to say it, what the steps should be for hostess coaching. So your hostess coaching system could have modules that look like this. You can have a hostess coaching checklist for the host. So you can send the host that hostess coaching checklist. Maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a PDF that she can print out. Maybe it's both, just in case she doesn't have a printer. You could also have a hostess coaching checklist for the consultant, so they know what the steps are that they need to go through and they can check them off. This can be digital, this can be paper, or both, because you're going to have people who want to use digital on your team and people who want to use the paper and check things off. And then I also highly recommend you have some hostess coaching sample verbiage so that you could do this inside of a Trello tracker, or you could create some sort of a document, or you could have something else set up inside of your team that walks them through the sample verbiage that they can, of course, personalize and the steps they need to go through for hostess coaching. And then I also highly recommend that you consider showing them how to create hostess coaching videos. You could have little videos, and I highly recommend that you use the videos with the verbiage, because some people will not want to read the hostess coaching verbiage, and some hostesses will not want to watch a video. So you never really know what their personality type is. So you could do both. You could have a hostess coaching video that you also send along with a little bit of verbiage, so that way you can make sure that they actually read it or watch it depending on what their learning style is. But you could show them tutorials on hostess coaching videos that you created. They can be uploaded to YouTube, or you can save them on their computer and then they can just upload them. They don't have to create them every single time for every single hostess. They can be generic videos, and then that way they can either use your videos until they're comfortable creating their own, or use that as a guide to create their own videos as well, which is highly recommended. That way they can make that connection with their hostess, because the hostess might turn out to be their next teammate, and you want to really start having that connection with them. All right, so if you're over here like, yeah, Melody, this sounds awesome, but I have no idea how or where to begin. First, breathe, sister friend, breathe. The thing about systems is they do take time, but you only have to tackle one system at a time. Don't be trying to do a bunch of systems at once, because then none of them will ever get done. Same thing like when you're working on home projects. If you're trying to tackle more than one home project at once, none of them are going to get done. You're going to have all these unfinished home projects. Focus on one at a time and focus on it and wait until it's done before you focus on another one. So one system at a time. Even one system at a time will make a huge impact on your team and on your schedule. Second, I have listed these systems in order of importance, as well as in order of how to set them up inside the guides of your group for a reason. That way you can work your way down the checklist one system at a time, laying that foundation for a strong and healthy business for you and your team. And ask your leaders to help and delegate whatever you can. You don't have to create all the systems. Have a team meeting, talk about the systems, ask them which ones they think that they could rock out, and then delegate those to them. And lastly, if you're ready to grow your team without growing your to-do list or neglecting your family time to support your growing team, but you just want some done-for-you help and guidance, have I got some exciting news for you. This spring, I am working on creating my next course, Systemize Your Team Building, and it will include step-by-step training, outlines, templates, guides, checklists, and as many plug-and-play resources I can manage inside to help every leader, no matter your company, personalize team-building systems to support their growing lineage. Woohoo! I'm currently looking for a few amazing leaders to work with and helping them create these systems for research purposes so that I can build a better course. So if you're interested in getting on the course waitlist and or being considered to work with me in these complimentary strategy and system building sessions, you can get on the waitlist over at abundantmomlife.com/systemize, which will also be the same site you can go to purchase the course should you be listening to this podcast at a later date. That's abundantmomlife.com/systemize, SYSTEMIZE. Your action step homework for today is to begin mapping out your team's first system, as noted from the list in order of importance, and post which system you chose over in my Abundant Mom Life for Network Marketers Facebook community. You can find the breakdown of systems in order in text over on my blog that matches the podcast at abundantmomlife.com/systems. And before you go, let's pray. Father God, thank you for our business and the team you are calling us to build. Help us to see team building as not just a means to an end, but a ministry. Help us to know how to be better stewards of our time and resources and not be fooled by the enemy's attempts to lead us into a life of striving rather than thriving. Remind us of our priorities and our purpose, and help us to keep our hearts and our minds fixed on you and your will for our business and our life. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you for listening to Mommy's show.
Hey Mama, if you found value in today's show, I'd be truly grateful if you take a few moments to hit that follow or subscribe button and leave an Apple Podcast review. You can even share this podcast with your team, because when we work together, we can empower mamas to claim the abundant life they desire and deserve. Come join our Facebook community at Abundant Mom Life for Network Marketers. Can't wait to get to know you.